Podstock.
Hello, everyone, and I will announce this at the top of the show. I did my first mock draft. That's where we are in the season, folks. It's ugly, it's bad, everything's burning and on fire, including when I pee. It's a whole situation.
I
Welcome
think that's
to the
a whole
hot
nother
side.
problem, Alex, if your pee is burning.
It's fine.
Might
It
want to
usually
tell
goes
your
away.
wife. You might want to tell your wife about whatever that is all about.
It's the full crew here. We got Steve, we got Dave, we got I assume the dog's there, Steve.
Kobe's in another room, actually.
Oh
So
no,
he's
no
not with us
Kobe.
today.
Wow.
Yeah,
Kobe
he's
free.
mad at the team, and so he told me
Kobe's
he's
done.
choosing not to participate. Yeah.
Kobe's
So where he can walk away from the show, we have to
Yes.
sit
we
here
have
and
to
babble
suffer through
anyway.
this.
Yes. Yes, it is dumpster fire season, folks, as the team heads to España to go play who is it? Miami? We're playing in Spain.
Don't you
I don't
know?
remember.
We're supposed to talk about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are
right.
supposed to. But do we want to? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. These are my
Okay.
favorite shows.
It's probably their last winnable game of the season. So yeah, we need
that
to
might
talk
be
Yeah,
about
true.
it.
that might be. All right. Well, but that comes later in the show. We have an order
Yes.
that we'd like to do things because we're all a
Yes.
little OCD, some more than others. So let's go to Steve for some numbers about that last
Speaking of
loss.
OCD, yeah, I caught the insult. All right, here's some numbers. So Washington obviously lost this game 44-22 in a game that wasn't even that close. Marcus Mariota was 16 for 22, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 133.3 somehow. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt led the way in rushing with an outstanding game, 11 carries, 30 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. Jeremy McNichols, 5 for 25. Chris Rodriguez, 6 for 16. Marcus Mariota, 5 for 22. Receiving, Treylon Burks, 3 for 58, who promptly got hurt after that. Zach Ertz, 4 for 54. Jalen Lane, 1 for 41. Debo Samuel, 4 for 29. Robbie Anderson / Chosen, 1 for 17. Goes down from there. Tackles, Bobby Wagner and Quan Martin both had 9. There were, of course, no sacks. Because why would there be sacks? That's
What's
crazy.
a sack?
Yeah, what's a sack? Okay,
Yeah,
and
right.
then the Lions, Jared Goff was 25 for 33, 320 yards. Kyle Allen played at the bitter end, over 2. Jahmyr Gibbs led the way with rushing, 15 for only 142 yards. I don't know what he was thinking there. Average 9.5 yards per carry. Could have done much better. David Montgomery, 15 for 71. Receiving, Jameson Williams led the way with 6 for 119 yards. Now we definitely have to play my favorite game, which is the Tressway game. So here we have 195 net passing yards. We're going to go with net passing yards from now on at the
All
Tressway
right.
game.
It just makes it easier.
Yeah, well, it's fair because
Yeah.
the sacks are the net part is the sacks, okay?
Right.
And then there's 93 rushing yards, and so then that is 288 total offensive yards. The question of the day is, did Tressway outpunt the entire Washington offense?
And the answer is no, because he actually didn't punt that much in this game.
So the answer, so Alex thinks no. Dave?
Well, I'll go with Alex because I didn't watch the game at all. I was indisposed.
Remember, Dave was, you and Dave were texting
I
all
had
the fun
assumed you
things
had
you were
caught up.
doing.
I assumed you had caught up before the show about.
I
with the
just
game.
the only thing I did was just watch a few highlights and
Mhm.
read everybody's comments. I was not
couldn't
going to
bring
sit
yourself
through that
Couldn't
game.
bring yourself to do it, huh?
As I was
Okay,
sitting in
no.
my basement eating chili dogs, watching that miserable game, you guys were texting all the fun things you were out doing.
Well, first of all, to answer the
Actually,
question,
I wasn't doing anything fun, actually, but
No, Steve was.
No.
Steve was like walking
I'll
his
get to
dog.
that. I'll get to that. Yeah. Tressway only had 4 punts for 200 yards, and so he was 88 yards behind this time. So do
Right.
better, Tress. And yes, in what Alex was referring to is I walked the dog starting at halftime, and I realized I didn't really need to see the third quarter because I knew it was going to happen. So we went on a long walk, and I got in about like 3/4 of the way through the third quarter. So I missed that part of the game, but I don't think
Yeah.
I missed anything.
No, you
No.
didn't. You missed nothing. And Dave, you missed nothing either, even though I think you missed the whole thing.
All right, so I think we really ought to start with the defense here.
Yeah.
The defense was stunningly bad.
The defense
atrocious.
is maybe the worst defense we ever seen, and we have some numbers about that you want to get into later. I don't know if we want to do that now, or we can touch on that later.
Okay, all right, fine.
Because let's first kvetch about this situation.
Well, I think what I saw was, first and foremost, the defensive front four is absolutely terrible.
Right.
They don't get any pressure. Mm-hmm. They don't clog up running lanes. They don't tackle very well. I fully recognize that both of the starting defensive ends are out with injury. However, they weren't great shakes to begin with. Dorrance Armstrong was the best they had, but he wasn't exactly Lawrence Taylor himself. Mm-hmm. But
can I before we even get to that?
Go ahead.
The interior has been healthy, and they suck.
Javon Kinlaw,
and that's where we're spending our money. Yeah, that's most of your defensive money is those two guys, and they have not played well.
Neither one of them have really played. Javon Kinlaw has had his moments throughout the year, but overall, they've just not been good at all. And as a representative example here, Washington's opponents are averaging 4.6 yards per rush, which is tied for ranked 23rd in the NFL. Now, that is an improvement over last year when they were last and the worst in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But it's still certainly not the payoff that was expected considering the changes they made, I would say. But more than importantly, though, I mean, it looked to me like there was no effort. Nobody cared.
They've quit.
They have quit.
It is abundantly clear the defense has quit on this team. It is abundantly clear to me that they've lost respect for their coaching staff, and we saw that especially with the fighting. We had multiple personal foul penalties on the defense in that first half. I mean, the Payne one's the big one, of course, where he swung at Amon-Ra St. Brown, got himself ejected, and booted for the next game. But there were other personal fouls of a similar nature. When I see that tells me you no longer respect your coaching staff.
Can somebody please explain to me how Javon Kinlaw didn't get thrown out of the game as well and suspended?
I don't know, honestly.
Dave, you might not have seen it, but Kinlaw took a swing at a ref.
Did he really? I didn't even. Yes. I didn't even see that on being posted.
It sure looked like it to me, and the TV announcers said it, and then just kind of disappeared from the ether.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Am I wrong, mm-hmm. Alex? I mean, did I not see what I saw?
I kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't remember the announcers mentioning it though.
The announcers. That's why I noticed it, because the announcers said it, and then it just kind of faded away. I mean, maybe that it was something else entirely. But look, forgetting that moment. I mean, Daron Payne. He later came out and claimed that St. Brown took a swing at him first.
There's video of it.
Yeah,
there is video, but.
However, you need to be smarter than that.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Get him on the field. And I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. You deserve to be suspended. I'm glad he got suspended. Mm-hmm. I fully agree with him being suspended for taking a swing at a punch on a field at a player. It's just totally inexcusable.
Right. I mean, now that I've seen the video, they both should be suspended.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But just because he swung first doesn't mean you don't get suspended for it. Like that's not the way it works.
And you know what? I'm looking at that video with Kinlaw, and you're absolutely right. He took a swing at that ref. I'm watching it. I mean,
and he got a penalty is the thing. He got assessed a penalty for that. Yeah, right. And I don't know how he didn't get. That's far worse than swinging at a player.
Oh yeah.
And for as awful as the refs have been this year, you just don't do that. And I'm sorry, but that's worth like a 2-game, 3-game suspension when
absolutely.
You do that.
That's why
one thing to swing. Shocked. I mean, it's one thing to swing at another player because they got pads on, they're protected.
They're also 20-something pro athletes.
Right. But you take a swing at an official like that, I mean.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know
come
how he didn't get suspended. It just
Well,
boggled my
he
mind.
doesn't. He never made contact, right? That might be
No,
why.
No,
but
he did
that's
not.
not really
No.
the point.
Oh no,
You know?
I know, but I guarantee you, if it had made contact, he'd be done. Like,
Yeah, they
you
might
know,
throw him out of the league for that. I mean, he
yeah,
gets
Right.
suspended for a year or something for
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, it.
You
Um,
know,
But
you
I
know,
think there was a larger issue that we're seeing there.
yeah, I mean, and I know the fans are all hot about the coaching staff and everything, but to me, the I mean, I agree that the lack of discipline is a problem and you blame that on the coaches, but for the most part, I'm not seeing scheme problems. What I'm seeing are players who aren't blocking,
No,
players who are losing one-on-one battles, players who aren't getting pass rush because they're not beating their opposing players one-on-one. I'm seeing players who are allowing secondary members who are allowing receivers to run all around the field. I'm seeing confusion in the defensive backfield and a ton of penalties. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore at least is getting a ton
right.
of penalties. All of that, yes. You can blame the coaches to a certain extent, but the panacea is not fire Joe Witt. You need better players, and the roster is poorly constructed, and that has been my point all along. There's no
Mhm.
turning this back this year. Like some of our comment section people are super mad and just do something. You got to do something. It sounds great, but okay, so you pick your player. You
right,
bench Mike Sanderson. Who's going to replace him?
Right.
You bench Deron Payne. Who are you going to put in?
right. Well, Amos is now hurt and done for the year. They're
Yeah.
super, and Lattimore's not coming back, right? So they're down to one of their starting corners.
Well,
Right.
so we can go over that.
Yeah,
So I did update. I didn't update on the website, but I did update my chart. I'm missing some salaries, but so that what they did is they put Trey Amos on IR.
and he's got a serious injury too, right? Like he broke is it his hip?
Fibia.
Fibia.
Fibia,
Thank you.
yeah. So Amos is on IR, and so they signed Robbie Chosen and then Jacoby Jones. And so then they signed two guys to the practice squad here. So if for those of you wondering, that is subtracting one and adding two to the active roster. Well, the reason for that, they can do that, is that Deron Payne is suspended for a week. And when you're suspended, you don't count against the active 53-man roster. So what that means is they're going to have to cut somebody next week when Payne
Right.
returns from his suspension. So
Right.
that was the roster moves as a result of all this. But I mean, the secondary has been just as bad,
Yeah,
and in this game
doesn't
was
make a
just as
difference
bad.
necessarily.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not saying
whole
it
the
does.
whole defense is. I guess you could claim that. Bobby Wagner, for all his faults, has probably been the least worst. He's had his terrible moments, but
He's still
but
second in the league in tackles or something
he's
like that.
producing, right?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
producing tackles.
He's always been productive.
Well, I mean, listen, we have a defense where we have a corner who's underperforming all year long. You have another, in Lattimore. You have a corner who was slated as being a slot guy coming out of the draft. Who struggled in the slot last year, kicked to the outside, played very well in the slot this year, struggled again. I mean, I'm beginning to think that he's more of an outside corner, even though we
But it
talk so
looks
much
like the
about him
team
being a
thinks he's
slot guy.
looks like the team thinks he's a slot corner, though.
Yeah, well, they need to rethink that one, in my opinion. But I don't get
Because
paid
they
the
had
big bucks
Jonathan
either.
Jones starting on the outside. But
Yeah. So, and then when we lost Will Harris's early in the year, we never had depth there, so we struggled with that. When we lost our best defensive ends for pass rush, I mean, we're down to our second, third, even our fourth string guy for the outside. I
Right.
mean, of course, we're not stopping the run because you're going to get one of those two guys, if not even both at times, double teamed in the center because Bobby Wagner, even though he's had a lot of tackles. This year, he has not had a lot of tackles for loss. In fact,
No.
there's been a lot of times you've been seeing the guy kind of backpedal a little bit before he even come in to even make his tackle. He's making contact on the positive side of the field as opposed to the negative side like he was last year, as I've
Right.
noticed most of the year. He's definitely lost a step. There's no doubt about that in all of our minds, anyways.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He is where London Fletcher was in Fletcher's last year. He
okay,
Right.
can
so
play in the box,
So
and that's
now,
So
it.
so
he's
now,
only had he has 99 total tackles, 49 solo, and 6 tackles for loss, which doesn't even lead the team. Dorrance Armstrong had 7 before
Right.
he went out.
Right.
So
and he's been out for a while now.
Yes.
So it's very clear that Adam Peters took a very calculated risk this year because of last year. But unfortunately, I think a lot of last year was, I don't want to say it was all smoke and mirrors. I think they had a very good year. The team was good. They were clicking, good chemistry. But we have to be fair too. I mean, the record of teams they faced were not very good. They faced a bad. I mean, the only real, true, legitimate team that they beat, in my opinion, last year was Tampa Bay in the first round when he went down to Tampa Bay. In my mind, that's really the only really, really good win they had all year last year. Other than that, I mean, yeah, they went to Detroit and they stomped Detroit, but they were down like their third and fourth corner. Aiden Hutchinson was out for the game. I mean, their defense was just not there at all. So but I think this year is the team quitting on the coaching staff. I think it's just kind of a microcosm of everything that's going on with this team this year. I mean, it's just nothing has gone their way. When it gets to that point, when you work so hard all year, and these things are happening week in and week out, yeah, they've quit on they quit on the coach staff, but I think also frustration has also set in. So it's like there's nothing we can do. Nothing good is going to happen. I think that also plays a bit of a factor in that.
Well, and to be fair, I mean the victory over the Eagles last year in Week 16 was legit. I think that would be the other one.
I mean, that's a great team. Yeah, even with a
Yeah,
backup
right. They
quarterback,
won the
that's a great
Super
team.
Bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so that would. But your point is valid, though, Dave.
The only knock on that I have, even though they had a great defense, if Hurts was not hurt, no pun intended, there's no way they win that game because
they
Hurts
would
would
have
have at
lost.
least scored one more time.
I'm
You know
just
what I
saying,
mean?
if you want to, I mean, they beat
True, I
Philadelphia,
get
but
you.
yeah, but your point is the same. I mean, I agree with your overarching point.
Yeah, I think we all understand that. And you're mentioning, the. I've always said that when you start to see a team quit on the coach, that's when you really do have to start thinking about replacing your coach. I'm not there yet with this coaching staff.
It doesn't matter right now. It'd be stupid to do it now.
Oh no, it would be an off.
He's talking about the off season, I think.
Yeah. I'm talking about even the off season at this point, because I think this season doesn't matter anymore. They don't need to You didn't make any trades, you didn't do anything at the deadline to change anything. Just you got to write out the season now. That's where you're at.
So, by the way, the corner group that's left, for those wondering, is Antonio Hamilton, Noah Igbinoghene, Jonathan Jones, and Mike Sanderson, and that's it. They do have 5 safeties, and you could plug Quan Martin in there, I guess, if you have to, which is probably their thought. But they're down to 4 corners, so one more gets hurt, and
it's scrap heaps. I mean, it's already scrap.
Well, they're
heaps,
already on
honestly.
scrap heaps.
Yeah, it's go to the not even the XFL. You're going to Arena Football League 2 to find.
They got to order a new corner from Amazon or something. Or it's Temu at this point, I think.
Right. Is there a Japanese football league we can maybe borrow a corner from?
Somewhere,
that's
probably.
Yeah. No, things are bad. Things are bad on the defense.
And no pass rush whatsoever. No sacks.
Nothing.
On Jared Goff at all.
It's just so frustrating. And look, I think we knew they did not do enough to address the defense in the offseason.
Yeah, but I didn't expect it to be this bad, though.
No, nor did I. That was my.
Well, I also didn't think we. But I mean, I didn't expect this.
I also didn't think we'd have so many injuries too at the same time to help compound all that. I mean, it really exposed this team's lack of depth. It really exposed the fact that they have no not having that elite guy on that defense really, really hurt to keep that defensive unit together. Mm-hmm. It just really showed a real glaring weakness on that side of the ball. And when you don't have that dog, when you don't have that killer on defense, and you have all these injuries, it's tough to rebound from because there's no one you fear. There's no one that's a threat on that defense. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
The team has 11 guys on IR right now, which is actually not the worst. I remember there was one year where they hit 20. I think that was probably Mike Shanahan's last season. It was crazy how many they had that season. But yeah, 11 guys on IR. I
I
think
got him.
more than half are on defense, right? It's
Well,
one,
of
two,
course.
three,
Did you not think I have
five,
this?
six,
So
six on
it's
defense.
Trey Amos, Dorrance Armstrong, Noah Brown, Austin Eckler, Will Harris, Drake Jackson, Tyree Jackson, Javante Jean Baptiste, Marshawn Lattimore, Luke McCaffrey, Lucas Nyang, and Dietrich Wise. And so the defenders would be Amos is 1, Armstrong is 2, Will Harris is 3, Drake Jackson is 4, Jean Baptiste is 5, Lattimore is 6, and then
Right.
Dietrich Wise is 7. So 7 of the 11,
And
or of the 12. It's actually 12, not 11. Now that Amos is on there, sorry.
Yeah,
12.
and most of those are starters on defense, which is the
Well,
killer.
yeah, I mean, you look through that. It's Amos, Armstrong,
Right. Harris.
Will Harris,
Yeah.
Dietrich
Both starting
Wise,
defensive ends.
Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah. Whereas on the offensive side, yeah, Noah Brown is probably a starter.
Noah Brown and Austin Eckler are both starters.
Yeah.
Luke
Yeah.
McCaffrey is a third, fourth receiver.
string
So
yeah.
But our
So-
top special teams guy.
That's
Yes.
true. That's true. He was doing really well. Though we did see in this game who was returning that was it Noah Benagami returned?
It was Noah Igbenogany, and he did really well.
Yeah,
on
I
one-
think
on one
I
point at
do
least.
think part of their success is the rest of the special teams. I think they have a good blocking unit there. If you're looking for any silver lining, I think that's why Luke McCaffrey was having success too.
I mean, I don't think there's really a fix for this year. I
There's
mean, it
none.
kind of
No.
is what it
For
is.
the defense,
Too
there's
late in the year.
zero. Yeah.
I mean, you guys out there can be mad all you want at the coaching, and it's justified to a certain extent, but they need to rebuild the roster.
Yeah.
You could have Vince Lombardi out there, and you're not going to turn this group into good.
No.
You may motivate them more, maybe to play harder, but they're not going to be good.
Well, and
Right.
the hard part about rebuilding the roster, like we're talking about, is the only way to do this right at this point is to be very draft focused, getting younger.
Yes.
Because the age does play a factor. I know a lot of people are like, well, a lot of the vets aren't hurt. One, a lot of the vets are hurt. If you look at who's hurt, it's
Well, they're
a lot
not on IR, but yeah.
Yeah. But you got to get younger to build a good roster, not just short term, but long term.
Right.
So, like, free agency, there was one year where and this was during the Snyder era, where the team suddenly announced we're not signing free agents over 27. I think you actually have to just kind of take that approach for a year and just say it won't be the best players because that it just won't, but build younger, make a conscious.
Well,
effort
I
to
mean,
do
I
it.
think the team's leadership looked at last year and said, we can sneak in a run here.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think
So
we
they
all
went
know
all
what
in.
I think
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
understand what they were doing, and the only good news is it's a lot of 1-year deals, right? Like a lot
Yeah.
of these older guys that they signed will be gone
Oh.
next year.
I forgot the most fun stat, by the way.
Okay,
How many punts did Detroit have?
wasn't it
Zero.
It was
Yeah.
0. Yeah. And they scored they had also no turnovers.
Right. They scored
They had-
every drive except for the last one where they took a knee.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
It
is,
was not fun.
I can't remember that ever happening again.
I remember Washington doing that last year.
Okay, so if you want to put in context this defense, people are wondering. So I have done
Yep.
research. You're
Yep.
welcome. Okay. Oh, it's someone offense. No wonder.
On a long walk Steve had to take, but we won't talk about why.
Okay. So as measured by, let's do yardage first. They are currently ranked 29th in the NFL in yardage. That
Right.
is the third worst in NFL history. I'll spare you, and I'll just tell you that the 2019 Redskins were ranked 32nd and were the worst. The 2023 Washington team, they're using the C words by then, ranked 31st, second to last. And then this year is third worst in team history. As measured by points surrendered, this year's team, the 2025, is ranked 27th, which is tied for 8th worst. The worst was 2023. then 2019, then 2013, then 2014, and then tied at 27th is 2025, 2010, and 1998. So, very terrible. So that's where. So putting in context, fair to say this is one of the worst defenses in franchise history so far.
Yeah, in terms of numbers, I think
Yes.
numbers do tell a lot of the story. But uh, even some of those bad teams that we're talking about, I feel like that you didn't see this lack of effort.
Right.
There was a lack of talent, there were injuries, other factors into that. Uh, but just no heart on this team anymore. And we talk about the fact that there's a lack of just physical talent. There's a lack of leadership. I mean, Bobby Wagner, for all of him once being a great leader at middle linebacker, obviously whatever he's not like getting through to people. We're not seeing it.
Well, I mean, but they don't have enough talent.
They don't. And
You could have George Patton out there, and that's not going to change the fact that they're not talented.
no, no. And we
Well,
talk
maybe
about
George Patton
rebuilding.
wouldn't be a great person on a football team, but continue. He's a little small for that.
Little small, little too, sometimes a little too gun ho. Let's also
A little bit, but the size would have prevented George Patton from being a good NFL football player because like George C. Scott in the movie is much bigger than Patton in real life.
Is he real? I didn't because
Yeah, Patton, I
George
don't think
Scott's not even a big guy.
Yeah, but he's bigger than Patton. But go ahead.
I'll Google that later. I'm now. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Well, we're gonna do it now. Continue, keep talking.
Steve's going to do that. Well, I'm just going to say they're going to rebuild this defense right, it's going to take a couple of seasons, honestly. And you need to find. I've always said great defenses in the NFL, they have one real star at each level.
Oh, see, I'm wrong. So, okay, I had it wrong. So it's George C. Scott is the short one. General Patton in real life was 6'2". So it was.
Okay.
So he's taller than the actor who played him in the
but
movie.
he was probably very lean because it was wartime.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Plus, he's not a professional football player. He was like a 50-year-old man too. So.
Right. Now he was an Olympic shooter. I do know that.
Yes.
Patton, he didn't he win a gold medal for
he won a medal or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was gold or silver. But he placed, which is pretty good. Don't make fun of a guy.
Point is, I don't think we can have George Patton on an NFL team. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And point I'll make.
Especially
don't make fun. Don't make fun of guys who come in third place in a shooting competition because they're still a good shot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, they need star power. They need to find those key guys at every level. They don't have a single guy that you can build this defense around.
Not really. No. I mean, Trey Amos seems to be playing well. Right. He's hurt, of course. But beyond that, I mean, I could take or leave any of the rest of them. Dorrance Armstrong, you can find a use for.
Yeah.
That's why they're more likely to have a top 10 pick in this draft coming up, maybe even top 7. That pick has got to be a guy like that linebacker out of Ohio State. His name slips me for right now. Somebody like that where you could plug in there, and day one he's wreaking havoc. On that defense.
A stud linebacker would be fine. A stud defensive end. It's got to be something that actually can make a difference. Like, as important as defensive tackles are, and they are important, the best defensive tackles don't wreak havoc on defense like you
unless your name's Aaron Donald.
Yeah. Okay. Unless you're the greatest defensive tackle of the last 30 to 40 years.
I mean, look, if the team calls, I'm willing to do my job. If they want me to come in and play safety, I'm happy to try. I'm happy to do it.
I thought you were going to change your diet and go play defensive tackle.
I mean, I have to put on a few pounds for that, but
like double your weight. Yes.
Yeah, whatever the team wants.
We're all game. We're all game at this point. Just go find some fat guys to put there. I don't know what to do. They also don't even really. I don't know what their scheme is or anything right now.
When in doubt, find some fat guys.
Yeah, that's always been my motto to draft.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think like the offense right now, defense hasn't had a full complement of players even have an identity or a true scheme consistently every week. when you're constantly having to cycle through players, and it's just.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
I-
funny you mentioned the O word because we can't. I think we
No,
beat the
you're right. We
defense to
should go.
death.
We should move
Yeah.
on. No, the defense beat themselves to death. It was very
True.
impressive. Yeah, they just kept flogging themselves. It was very weird. All right, let's talk offense. Obviously, no Jaden Daniels. So, and like you said, injuries. We don't know what this offensive identity was even supposed to be anymore. They
Okay, so
struggled with
I
running.
did a poll, by the way,
Yes, you did.
before I forget. So I was curious as to what people thought about Jane Daniels now as compared to last year. And
Right.
so I polled our Twitter people and said, after watching Jane Daniels for 1.5 seasons, what's your opinion about his long-term future? And my choices were future Hall of Famer, multiple-time Pro Bowler, average starter, and flash in the pan. Somebody in our comment section pointed out that you really don't have like a above
Enough
average
said.
starter.
Right.
And I was sort of meaning multiple time Pro Bowler, sort of in that category, but there's a little bit of vagueness and it's my fault. But so
You also can only do so many options in a Twitter
yeah, you
poll.
can
Yeah,
only do
right.
4 options on here on these Twitter polls.
Yeah.
It's not that scientific. But so multiple time Pro Bowler one was 56%, and then future Hall of Famer 23%, average starter 12%, and then flash in the pan was 9%. I don't know what you guys are looking at, to be perfectly honest. I think that's a lot of fans being positive. I don't know how you can call him a future Hall of Famer.
Well,
At this point.
I
But
don't
that
know
was the
about
result.
future Hall of Famer. I still think he's got enough talent where if they build around him as he
He
matures
could be an
in
above average starter.
he'll
Yeah,
I think he'll be above average Pro Bowl caliber for 10-year run or whatever his career ends up
it's
being.
possible.
Yeah, I'm still very optimistic about that because
Yeah.
I when you watch him play and when you like listen to him talk, he's not in the NFL for the wrong reasons, like Chase Young or Robert Griffin, who were more about the celebrity. He's here to play
And the
football.
money.
He lo
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and that goes a long way.
And
Um,
a lot can be said to the fact that he just didn't have chemistry with the receivers. He lost his top check down back in Austin
Yeah,
Eckler. For a second year quarterback, I mean, that takes a toll. Someone had made a comment about the fact that, well, would you consider a move on from Cliff Kingsbury to someone who's a little more of a pro style offense and get a little more on the center, and so forth. And I think, personally, I thought that, if they went that route, I think that would suit his game a little bit better to start developing him more in that sense, because what Cliff Kingsbury does, it's a prolific offense in many aspects in terms of what it does in yards gained, points put up and everything, but it's not a pro style offense. He doesn't run a pro style offense, and I think that I think he's taken Daniels too far away from that, even though he's never really played in a pro style offense. But I think there's a balance in between that you need to have him in this league where he
hmm
could be on the center a little bit more often. He can, react more to what the defense is doing a lot easier on the center than what he would be standing 7 yards back. And
right.
I think he's capable of that. I think he's capable of making adjustments, and being that quarterback. I mean, not being a prototypical pocket passer, but I think he's capable of being that guy with
hmm
everything else he brings to the game. And of course, you get some guys on there. It's like, oh, you just want to toss out Cliff Kingsbury already. It's not his fault. It's not what I said. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying that there's another way to go with Daniels that I agree with. I think is probably a good way, like Mike McDaniel's out of Miami, more likely will be fired and available as an OC. I think he's that perfect balance. He'll run a similar style offense like Cliff Kingsbury does, but he'll get his quarterback on the center, and he runs a little more of a pro style offense mixed in what he does. I think that's the kind of guy that would be perfect for Jaden
yeah, but
Daniels.
the problem is
But
a lot of these
that's going ahead of myself though.
a lot of these quarterbacks and a lot of Washington quarterbacks have been hurt in their career by constantly having systems change over
Right.
and over
Sure.
and over again. These systems change, and what you're talking about is a system change. And so I think if it were me, I would give Cliff Kingsbury another year just to keep it
Oh
consistent.
no. I agree. I'm just saying if there was an option to move on, like more than likely he might be taking probably a college job somewhere after this year. And seeing, I think of Mike McDaniels, he has a system where he'll still do a lot of what Cliff Kingsbury does in many aspects, but he will get the quarterback on the center and he will run a little more of a pro style system as well at the same time.
With
You
McDaniel
know,
coming from that Sean McVay, you know, tree, whatever you want to call
But
that,
again, I
shrub.
right?
mean, Kingsbury needs to stay for a year.
Well, but he's right now considered the favorite to get the New York job. He's the favorite for a bunch of
All of
college
this, what
jobs.
we're talking, I just want to
Yeah.
emphasize what you guys are talking about. I think applies if he leaves. I don't think Washington will
Yes.
chase him off.
No, no, no.
No, I don't think
No,
they will
no.
either. I don't
Um,
love his system, but I
right.
think they'll keep it for what you said,
Um,
consistency.
so the other thing in this game is the running game was just absolutely
The running
atrocious.
game's been a mess for
Right.
the whole
After the high
season.
water mark of Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt
At
against the
San Diego,
Chargers,
yeah,
yeah, it's been completely downhill ever since.
right.
And
And
it's
I
just
will
not even
always say
NFL
San
worthy
Diego. By
anymore.
the way, I will always continue to think the Chargers play in San Diego.
Did I say San Diego?
No, I did.
You said Los
Oh,
Angeles.
okay. I did. Okay.
Yes.
Um, it's just been absolutely atrocious. I mean, they can't win. You can't win football games like this.
No.
No.
You know, it just and I mean, I think one of the lone bright spots has been Laramie Tunzel. He's been fairly decent. He's more or less lived up to the hype. But
Yep.
Josh Connerly made more mistakes. That guy's
He's
trending towards bust.
he's had a rough rookie season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
trending towards bust.
can we also be honest? Cosme, like I know he's back in from a pretty big injury. He's not playing well still.
No,
No.
it's going to take him time anyway from that kind of an injury anyway.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even expecting him to step in and play to his Pro Bowl form anyways.
Oh no, me neither. But honestly, I would have considered keeping him out longer. In
Yeah.
hindsight. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I don't like Paul that much on at the other guard spot. Probably go back to the kid they drafted last year, give him another shot at this point. I think with this being a lost season at this point, you got to start trying some of these younger guys and just seeing what they can do as much as possible.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like it
And,
went over 29. I don't need to see you on the field very much.
Yeah.
and on the receiving end, you know, I mean, Traylon Burks, you know, did well this time. Robbie Chosen has looked like a, you know, at least looked like a professional. But it's just hard when you're talking about, you know,
These are fourth
the
string
fourth,
receivers.
fifth string receiver. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. With Traylon Burks, so I personally think that they have something in him. I think he'll be around next year. I think Debo's not going to be around. I think he's going to be that number 2, number 3 guy, and I think he potentially is, as a receiving core will potentially challenge to get back to what his draft pick his draft scouting report kind of projected him to be as a receiver. Because let's also remember he was with probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the NFL over the last 15, 20 years in Will Levis. I mean, there was nothing there for him, nothing at all.
It's interesting. You think Debo's gone. I agree with you. I actually think Debo, despite the fact that he's their number one receiver by default,
By default. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he fits what Cliff Kingsbury does very well. Just in philosophically, like when you think of what Cliff Kingsbury is, which is this like spread deep ball, that's not Debo's game, right? Like,
Well, he was sort of supposed to be another toy, not
Right.
necessarily like the lead receiver either.
right, that's true. But Cliff is not a creative toy guy. He's a throw the ball over the place guy.
Well, he can
right?
be a creative toy guy, but just everybody got hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of it, I guess. It'll be interesting to see. Like, I wouldn't be anti keeping Debo necessarily. I just don't think you can't think of him as your number 2. He's like your 3 gadget guy.
He was always supposed to be that though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
But
don't think
they
there's
don't.
any
But
good
he
things.
gets
I
paid
think we
like a
need to
one.
move on here. I
Yeah.
think we beat this game to death. There's nothing positive to come out of this game.
Nope. Nope. Game balls. I got almost nothing. Steve, you just give them to whoever you want to on the other teams, and let's move on.
I mean, I have to, of course.
I
I
know you
mean,
have to. Yeah.
clearly, I mean, I think, I mean, Jameer Gibbs deserves a game ball, doesn't he?
He played very well. Yes.
Yeah, and I think Deron Payne ought to present him the game ball.
That's fair.
Yeah, and on defense, whew, um, let me give it to Brian Branch for having this 1.5 sacks.
Hey. Okay. There you go.
Marcus Mariota. So there
yeah,
you go. That
Yeah.
that makes me happy.
Okay.
Dave, do you want to do one?
Yeah, sure. I'll go. Let me do Jameson Williams because after I traded him my fantasy, he lights it up and against me, by the way, in a matchup this weekend. So I will hand him that game ball myself
Perfect.
because he helped defeat me this past weekend. So I'll give him that. And defensive side, I guess. Let's see. We'll go with Well, we'll stick to your trend here, Steve. I'll go with who's that Harper guy? Thomas Harper, 6 tackles.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he was pretty disruptive in this game because I didn't really watch the game.
Oh, that's
so.
right. Yeah, you didn't really watch the game. Oh, I
No.
think Amon-Ra St. Brown deserves some sort of special recognition for getting Deron Payne suspended.
There
I
you
guess
go.
so. In some weird way.
Honorable
Yeah.
mention.
Yeah, some kind of honorable mention or lifetime achievement award or something.
One last thing I'm going to mention about the team this season, because I looked this up. We have yet to have a receiver go for 100 yards this season.
Is that true?
Yep. Debo got to 96, and if you combine that with his rushing yards, he got there. But they have yet to have a receiver have a 100-yard.
That's pretty
game.
amazing.
That's really bad, right? Like
that's horrible.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on?
Let's move on.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay. I don't remember which topic we want to do next.
Well, I think we got to do the game preview for
let's do the
Dolphins.
preview. Yeah, all right. Washington is playing the Miami Dolphins. Of course, this is in Madrid. It's going to be a 9:30 Eastern time game. And it's only on NFL Network or NFL Plus or one of these.
It's on NFL Network.
Network.
Okay. Yeah. So I am now desperately looking for a bar that will actually be open at 9:30 in the morning here in DC to go watch this game.
You need to do that, Alex. You just need to
Actually
get online to the site that I use to watch these games, and you can watch.
Actually,
That's true.
Speaking of that, someone shared with me. I'll try it this weekend. I'll share it with you guys. He says he's been using it for a couple years, and it's works.
He's been using a totally legitimate organization.
Oh no, it's not really necessarily legitimate.
Steve, I sent you the site I now use in light of.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's where site where also works.
Yeah. So I'll send you this one.
Okay.
So now you had 2. If one doesn't work, you bounce back and forth now because
Right.
this.
Yeah, because sometimes they lock up. Okay, so look, here's the thing about the Dolphins.
Enough with the illegal stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. The Dolphins are also 3-7. They're also in third place.
They're equally a hot mess in different ways.
However, they did beat the Buffalo Bills this past week.
Right.
So there's that. But if you want to look at rankings and stuff, I mean, they've only scored 210 points. They're ranked 21st. Washington's higher than that at 13. Passer rating is they're ranked 23rd in passer rating. Washington's higher than that at 16. Rushing, Washington and Miami are about the same. And again, Washington's rushing numbers are boosted by the quarterback, a little bit. And on defense, neither team's defense is any good. The Dolphins have given up 256 points as compared to 280. They're ranked 27th compared to Washington's 31st. Pressure percentage is much higher than Washington's. Where they really excel is pass defense. The Dolphins have one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL, almost as bad as Washington's. Washington's is at least as measured by passer rating, the worst in the NFL at 212.7. Dolphins are right behind them at 212.2.
Wow.
And so, what I think, first of all, the keys to this game, and I'll shut up. The number one, the defensive mentality needs to improve. They're not going to win anything if with the hot mess we saw last week. I don't care what scheme, doesn't matter. They need to look like professionals. Number two, take advantage of the Dolphins' pass defense. Their run defense is in the realm of decent. This is a game they need to let Marcus Mariota and his band of practice squatters really open it up and take advantage of it. And three, win the turnover battles. The Dolphins are terrible in turnovers. The reason they are is Tua leads the league in interceptions. And they also have 4 fumbles lost. They're -7 turnover differential, a little worse than Washington. So you need to win the turnover battles. Now the key matchups: Larry Tunsil versus Bradley Chubb. That's a highlight matchup. Jalen Waddle. But the real one is Devon Achane. Devon Achane is the Dolphins do everything guy. Yeah. This guy is leading the team in rushing. He's leading the team in receptions. They really need to focus on Devon Achane and let someone else beat him. So that's my thought initially about the Dolphins game.
So my thought, it's very Washington focused, obviously, but with Dan Quinn taking over defensive play calling finally, I don't think that makes a huge difference, but I think he, as a really good defensive mind, and he is, he needs to recognize what this team is and just stick to basics. This is not a team that you can do exotic blitzes with. This is not a team that you can, you have to play basic coverage. Stick to what Dan Quinn. Stick to cover 3. Stick to 2 high safeties. Don't zero blitz these guys because you suck at it. Even with all your healthy players, you weren't very good at that kind of stuff. Get to basics. Just accept that you're going to give up some points doing that, but it'll get you through hopefully looking halfway decent. So maybe you allow 30-something points instead of 40-something points that way. A 10-point difference would be a huge improvement for them.
It'd be an improvement.
So that's where I'm at with the team.
Well, it's first of all, tackle. I am so tired of seeing these throwing the shoulders at the guy, poor angles, and not getting. Yeah, you've got to. You were talking about getting the basics, like you said, Alex. Tackle, my goodness, when you square up, just I don't know, just tackle. I mean,
fundamentals.
It's
so basic, and it's amazing how this team has lost any sense of fundamentals like that. You have a point.
Yeah, because one of the replays I saw last week was, I believe it was either off a screen pass or a run and play. I see Bobby Wagner. Actually, it was a screen pass. I think it was. Bobby Wagner comes up, goes in position. He backpedals like 2 or 3 yards, and then he comes up for the tackle. I'm like, what is that? What are you doing? And then I watch again another Quan Martin, throw my shoulder into the guy. Don't want to wrap my arms around him. And see that right there to me speaks a lot to what the coaching is doing here at the same time, because where's the focus at getting these guys to get back to that very basic fundamentals on how to play defense? And if these guys aren't doing it, granted, you're not going to bench a Bobby Wagner.
I don't think you should. I don't think the coaches. It's not the coach's job to teach NFL football players how to
You're
tackle.
right, but you could take a Quan Martin and go, you know what? If this is not what you're going to do, because you can't cover anybody. You've been atrocious in covering anybody. If you can't tackle anyone, I'm going to put Jeremy Reeves in your spot then.
Form tackle. You probably did too. We did form tackle drills in high school.
Yeah.
Remember those?
I get that, and most NFL players don't really even do that very well. But Quan Martin, he can't even throw a shoulder into a guy with any kind of power to knock him off balance. Do something.
I agree with you. I mean, certainly you got to attack. That's kind of what my first point was. The defense, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters if the defense is going to just completely not show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because because if you can't do that, it doesn't matter what else you do. because you can't cover, you can't rush the quarterback. So it's if you
Okay.
can't do that, there's
And Steve, I know you're
So
saying that like these guys shouldn't need it. Apparently they do, because league wide, the NFL's bad at this stuff.
yeah.
to give a little insight into the Dolphins, rather than just complain about tackling. So the
Sorry.
reason why no, I mean we're both doing it, but um, the reason why Tua's quarterback rating is low is the interceptions. Okay, his completion percentage is pretty high. It's
Mhm.
68.2. He has a lot of touchdown passes, 17 touchdown passes.
That's really good.
Decent amount of yardage, 1,952. Quarterback rating 87.6. That's why. So my point is, when he doesn't throw interceptions, he's been pretty good. And now, I mentioned Devon Arcane, running back. The guy has 780 yards. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. Has 66 receiving targets, 49 receptions, 325 yards. The guy that is a lot of touches. Okay, over more than 200 between the
Mhm.
targets and the attempts and the rushing attempts. More than 200. Tyreek Hill is out for the year with an injury, so the receiving duties now fall somewhere between Jalen Waddle and Malik Washington, with
Right.
Waddle getting a lot more of the touches, and Waddle's leading the team. And so I think that is the offense, really. It's Tua, Akane, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, and everybody else is a non-event. And so if you get a few interceptions and stop a few of their drives and focus on Devon Akane, I think you have it's a decent game plan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a decent game plan. I don't know how
I'm
successful
not
it'll
saying
be,
that could
but yeah,
happen, but I'm
yeah.
saying that's the theory.
Yeah. Now, offensively, I don't know. It's so hard
They got
to
to
say.
open it up.
They have to open it up. You're right.
I mean, because when you're playing one of the worst, when you're playing a pass defense, it's almost as bad as yours.
Right.
You got to open it up. I
Yeah.
think
Right.
this is not the rushing, because in the run game has been terrible, all year. But this run defense is not terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible. So I just think let's try to get some receivers open, run some more vertical routes in there. Maybe do better. About the underneath stuff. Certainly, I agree, but I think you got to go downfield more against these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
right.
is a Jeremy Lane game right here. And in terms of
Jalen
because he's
Lane.
got the
Yeah.
Jalen Lane, I'm
Jalen
sorry,
Lane.
Jalen Lane,
Yeah.
Jeremy Lane. Wow. But
Jeremy Lane
Jalen
probably
Lane
won't have
game
much to do with it.
No.
because of his speed, he can get past that secondary relatively easily. I mean, you can get him on screen passes, you get him involved in more with the run game in many aspects. I mean, he's probably your best threat going into this game to open up that offense.
In terms of deep
this
threats,
week.
he definitely is.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Let's do scores, and we have one more topic we got to touch on.
I'll go
which will be
first
fun.
this
All right.
time, because I would normally defer. I until Washington wins a game, it proves to me that they're not terrible. I can't get behind victories, so I do think it'll be close, just because Miami's not as good. Recognizing that they beat the Bills, so I think this is a 32-24 Miami victory.
Yeah, I'm going more of a 26-21 Miami victory.
I'm kind of in the same area you guys are here. I think it's going to be something like 33-28 ish. Yeah, that sounds right. They won't get blown out like they have the last 4 weeks.
Right.
4 weeks in a row of 3 touchdown or more losses will
4
end.
blowouts is a lot, man. But
It is.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So, all right. That'll take care of that. Let's talk about the last story that we have, which actually dates back to the game. Last minute, it was announced that President Trump would show up to this game. I think they announced that on Saturday or late Friday. I can't remember. But big hullabaloo. Obviously, there's logistical challenges with that. Fans have to, all go through security. There's a reason presidents don't go to football games very often now.
It's amazing. Speaking as someone who's been involved in this a little bit, it's a major security hassle.
Yes.
Okay.
You and I have both been involved. It is not fun.
Yes. Yeah. I was
Right.
stationed at Andrews. I've done this. It is a major, major security problem. There's a reason why they've had to put bulletproof glass up on the owner's, box. If you were there, you had to increase, security screening and all
Yep.
of that.
Just speaking from my own experience, if you think it was bad for fans, the people who were working that event, they were probably there 6 a.m. to go through
Oh,
it
that's really
themselves.
kind of what I was really talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
bad for the fans, but it's a huge struggle
yes.
for the workers.
It is a
Right.
total nightmare when you have the president, vice
And I don't
president,
know
any of
how
those.
many, Secret Service have to be there for a crowd of,
That
65,000 or
size,
whatever.
thou-
Yeah, a lot.
probably 1,000, all of
I
them.
don't know. I'm not going to
Yeah,
predict numbers. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know offhand either, but uh, I've done events where it's 200 people and you have about 25 Secret Service agents.
Yeah, it's
So
a lot.
it's nuts. Yeah,
So we are not here to be political.
right.
Alex and I strongly disagree in politics, but we can remain friends.
Yep. That's
And
civility, is what it
yeah,
is.
but what I will say is those of you boo the president if you want, you're entitled to First Amendment. Those of you who chose to boo the president while he was enlisting people into the military should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourself. Boo, he did not make a political speech. What he was doing was reading
That
names for
moment,
people who are enlisting in the military, and I think all of you who booed him during that time should be ashamed.
at that moment, I do agree it's not the right time. Boo him every other time he's on screen. Fine.
If you want, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
But while you're enlisting people, it is shameful, and I am embarrassed for all of you people who did that.
And I'll be honest with you, it's probably a good thing I didn't go to the game because if
'Cause you
those
would have been
booed in
really
my
mad.
section,
Yeah.
I actually probably would have been one of the first times I probably would have turned around and probably would have said something because you
Right.
just don't do that. Those people on the field that are coming into the military have absolutely nothing to do with that man who was our president, in terms of any of his policies, the way he talks, or anything of that nature. Grow up
Yes,
and
absolutely.
grow up.
Absolutely.
Now that said, I will say on the other side of it, the rumor that Trump and his people, egged this on, obviously his press secretary, that he now wants this new stadium named after him.
Uh,
Equally, fuck right off with that. I'll just
well,
say
I
that.
mean, it's. I'm not going to say words like that, but it's not a serious. This is Donald Trump has a history of kind of trolling people, and that's what this is. It's not a serious demand. They're going to sell the. I'm not. I don't. I remember who has control of the naming rights. Who gets the money? Probably the team.
The team does.
I think. But they're going to sell the naming rights. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
They've already got a deal with Northwest to use their, like Northwest has the first option on it.
Yeah, and so this is not a serious demand. This is Donald Trump just talking, and it doesn't mean anything. And people need to stop taking stuff like that seriously. The proper thing to do is sell the name to a sponsor,
Right.
and the income will come to
make your
some
money.
combination of the Washington team and the city. That's the
And if you
answer.
didn't
It's not
see,
serious.
apparently Josh Harris already said something, not directly to Trump, but said, "No, we're
Of
not going
course
to
not.
let
This is
that."
along the lines
yeah.
of Canada should be the 51st state. Okay, that's never
Yeah.
serious. This isn't serious. It's people just need to forget it. It's not as it's not it's not a serious demand.
It's not, but I will say one thing though. For as much as I've had to endear this name change and tried to adopt this brand and this team name the way that I have, if they turn around and would have done something like that and named it after him, I'd probably be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just a football fan and I'm moving on because that's
We
just
don't
ridiculous.
people. Yeah, I mean, we want football as a way to escape this, not
Yes.
to be invaded by it.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. I
Yes.
think we all kind of see football as that, and at one point it did bring the city together. I don't think that's ever happening again.
No.
Politics is overcome football in this city.
Not, not until they do what you've always talked about before, Alex. And I think you've agreed, Steve, is the fact that I mean, these two-party systems need to be blown up, and something has to be done differently going forward. Until
I mean,
that
it's
day
another
happens,
Yeah, it's another whole nother
That's
podcast, but
yeah,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right. I'm not going to detail with it, but until something like that happens, yeah, you're right. I mean, we're never going to come
but
together
the
in that
big the
sense.
big the
No.
big the point that people need to understand is that Donald Trump is not serious. He says a lot of things he's not serious. He says he has a lot of thoughts that pop in and out of his head that he can't keep to himself. It's there's no such thing as naming in today's world of naming a stadium after somebody at all. It's sponsor
Especially, we
revenue.
don't
Okay,
name
that's it.
stadiums after people while they're alive. That's super
Right.
weird.
No, but
And see,
right.
and now and that's another point that would have irked me because if you're going to name it after somebody, which is probably why I would turn around and go, you know what, I'm done. If you're going to name it after somebody, you name it after Joe Gibbs. Period.
Oh, of course.
There's
Joe
no
Gibbs has
other
got
name to pick
millions
besides
of
Joe
dollars to
Gibbs.
buy a sponsorship. Sure, Joe Gibbs Racing Stadium,
Well, I'm just
Well,
saying if you name it after somebody, that's
or
who you
maybe Jack
do it
Kent Cook,
after.
maybe. But yeah,
and
Right.
again, and I wouldn't wish this on Joe Gibbs. You generally wait till someone's passed to give them a stadium
right.
name. So
Sure.
now, granted, by 2030, like just Gibbs' age, and you do some math, like that might happen. Unfortunately,
let's
yeah.
not be morbid. But
I'm not.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
my point
Sorry.
is, stadiums in today's world, they're not they're not named like that's not how they're named. All of them have sponsors.
Right.
100% of them. And so there's going to be a sponsor. It's not going to be named after the president or any other president. It's going to be like, the Kroger Stadium or the Chevrolet Stadium or Northwest or, what's that stupid gas station on the East Coast? I mean, it'll be something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
Wawa. Is that
Well,
it?
no, Wawa would only ever sponsor a Pennsylvania stadium.
Oh, okay. Well, fair
they're
enough.
too
But
tied to that. Yeah.
regardless, that it's going to be some corporate name, period,
Right.
dot, the end. It's not
I'll tell you
serious at
what,
all.
man. Name it after Bucky's and bring in their brisket. I would absolutely love that.
Bucky's kind of a Texas thing, though.
I
So
don't
they're not
care.
gonna...
I don't care. I want their brisket up there for the games. That'd be fantastic. I love their brisket
Bucky
sandwich.
Stadium in DC just seems wrong.
Well, that would be the equivalent of the Wawa.
Yeah, you'd probably.
It really would. I think you would.
Uh,
People would have an aneurysm. Certain people.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, DC doesn't have like a good chain like that.
Mm-mm.
Five Guys. I've said Five Guys before. Five Guys has always been my go-to. Five Guys Stadium. It's red and white. Is their logo?
I don't think
Perfect.
Five Guys want to spend that much money, but yeah.
No, but isn't the Redskins Hall of Fame kicker? He's
Mark
still
Mosley is a part owner or a
yeah,
founder or something.
he's still there.
Involved, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think he's a executive, is what he is.
I don't know. I don't
technically.
remember, but yeah, he's involved somehow in the management or ownership of Five Guys. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That wouldn't.
I'm
be
saying
bad.
they're not going to buy a stadium name. That's what
Oh
I'm
no,
saying.
no.
No.
Money wise, they can't do it.
Yeah.
But
So that's
I
it.
would still
So
do it.
calm down, people. It's ridiculous. It's not a thing. The end.
Yeah. All right. So that does it for this week's show. We will see you all next week after, I hope everyone has like a nice little brunch and game situation going.
Morale will, the beatings will continue until morale improves.
Yes.
So just forever.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you all next week.
Later.
Bye.
I just can't believe how many people.